I'm a classically trained ballet dancer, so I was always in and just dance around the living room all the time anyway. So my mother thought, well, let's put him in dance, and tried the whole baseball thing, and it just wasn't really my deal. And I went to my parents and said, is it okay if I dance instead of play baseball? And I'm really fortunate. I have very, very supportive parents. They're my two best friends. They're really great. So they supported that. And I had a friend come and visit me from New York, and so I pulled her aside and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I've got you here for the moral support, so if it goes crazy, you and I can run away. So I didn't know really how it was gonna go. So I set them down and I was like, okay, something I need to tell you. I don't really know how to tell you this. I want to be honest with you. And so I kept I was dragging it out and not wanting to say it. And my mother goes, Gregory, is this about you being gay? And I went, yeah, okay. You know, it was, in that instant, it was the freedom, the release of being me and admitting that. And I can say it out loud, I can say it in front of my parents. And those are, other than my own opinion, those are the two most important opinions in my life. So for that reason, I just wanted to be honest.
Well, I knew there was something different about myself at about age 5. Didn't really know what it was until I saw what transgender transsexuality was when I was 12. And then I could identify what I was. Body dysphoric type feelings are very much different than sexual orientation. I just knew I was different. And then when I saw that you didn't have to be the gender you were born, the light went off. I actually started transitioning before I came out. I was kind of cross-dressing as a man for about 4 months. And then finally I couldn't do it any longer, and I told my family and close friends. There's a lot of stigma with being a transsexual. In 1978, it was a pretty much horrific thing to come out and say I'm a transsexual. Going from being, I guess, the most entitled segment of the population, being a white male, to being a transsexual, that was a huge adjustment. You know, most of my life I worried how my parents would think about it, and then when I did it, I worried about what my kids were going to think about it. And I'm happy. I mean, I have a new family. It's huge. You know, the LGBT community is a huge family. What I think I might have lost somewhere, I don't regret. And what I've gained, I never expected. So I'm happy.
I realized I was gay when I would say young, very young, in elementary. I didn't recognize it, you know, or acknowledge more until I was 13 years old. Yeah, it hit me at PE, physical education class. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay. I went to a gay and lesbian conference in San Francisco at 15 through GSA, Gay Straight Alliance, during the time. And we took a trip to San Francisco, and I was learning all about HIV and AIDS, and I didn't know anything about that at that age. We were going to the doctor's office. I was doing my annual, you know, physical checkup and things like that. And I told the doctor in front of my dad I want to take a HIV test. And the doctor was like, okay. And then my dad kept questioning me why, and I didn't want to tell him. And then we got into a big, huge fight at the doctor's office, and that's when I just blurted out, is because of the fact that I'm gay. I know during the time of growing up, you know, my mom always taught me to love yourself. No matter who you are or what you are, love yourself. I really felt glad. I felt this peace within.
I've probably known I was gay my whole life. You know, unfortunately, I think society paints a different picture, or painted a different picture for me. So I repressed that for a really long time. I came out to a really good friend of mine first. And of course, you know, oh, we're surprised it took you this long, you know? But as far as coming out to like my mom, it was kind of funny. I lived about an hour and a half away from my mother. So I decided to send her a text. Hey, if I have something to tell you, do you promise not to make any judgments or have any judgments to say about anything? She's like, of course. So I came out and told her, and then my phone started ringing, crying and going on and on. But you know, it was a shock to everybody. But now everything is okay. Everyone's come to terms with it, including myself and including my ex-wife, who's really supportive. So it's good. It's good. It's nice to feel. It's nice not to have any secrets. You know, it's nice not to have any secrets.
At a pretty young age, I realized that there was definitely something different about what I was looking at as opposed to what other little boys were looking at, or what we were supposed to be looking at. My dad's a fireman, and so going to see Dad at the station, I was always looking at guys, you know, so I ended up joining the military, thinking that that was going to help my situation out and I was going to get myself all straightened out. And I joined the Navy. Little did I know I was joining the largest gay organization in the world. I was pretty much aware all along, and I was just dealing with the fact that I was seeking other people's acceptance instead of my own. When it comes to the way John looks at the world, when it comes to the way that John approaches the world, it's 90% or more female. My perspective is feminine, my outlook is feminine, the way I perceive things is feminine. And so, even though I'm happy being a man, have no problem being a man, there is this side of me that wants to come out, and then there's the artistic side of me that likes to create the illusion of being a woman, and then the whole entertaining and being on stage. So it's a release, but it's fun, and it's just another aspect of who I am. It's just been an enjoyable kind of an experience in self-realization and really deciding and figuring out who I am and what kind of a role I play in this world.
We all have our own story.
Our own experiences.
Some good, some bad.
But we live our lives to share, to tell, to live, to celebrate.
Going out and coming out.